Oh my god, I look so different here. Hi peeps, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Runzi. I'm an artist, but I mainly enjoy talking about mental hygiene, personal development, and spirituality related topics. Today, I am super excited because, as promised, I'm gonna talk about all 5 of the characters from Tomorrow I Will Be Someone's Girlfriend. Right before I started recording this video, I take a look at the poll that I uploaded a week ago. I kind of expected Yua to be the first one, but I did not expect Aya to surpass Yua by the time I am actually recording this video. And I'm really sorry if I keep looking down because I have my note here. I have everything prepared here because Yua has so much to unpack and I want to be thorough in this video, so I wrote everything down and hopefully I don't miss out on anything because Yua's character is just super complicated. Without further ado, let's jump right into today's video. Yua grew up in a small town where everyone in her neighborhood literally know each other. She always dreamt of moving to Tokyo where she can live her dream life, she can have fun constantly, and to escape from the whole mundane life where she felt extremely stuck. In small towns like that, rumors tend to fly around easily, and she doesn't seem to have a very good reputation among her friends because she's constantly skipping class, she's not in school, and people had seen her hanging around with adults. How many of you can actually relate to this? Growing up as a teenager, I always dreamt of moving into my own house, moving into a bigger city. Although I live in the city, but I dreamt of moving to a different country because I want to escape from my reality where I felt trapped, where I felt like there's not much freedom to fully express myself. Even now as an adult, I think a lot of us are constantly seeking for a way to escape to a different town, a different city. Even if you're from a city, you might want to move to a village. Well, obviously, I don't think there's anything wrong with having desires, with wanting to improve the quality of your life, to change your environment, to live in a place where you feel more comfortable. But you have to be conscious of your true intentions. Are you trying to run away from your problems, or are you trying to grow yourself? If you're trying to escape from your current environment and you have a bunch of problems surrounding you, no matter where you are, you will always carry the problem with you because you are still carrying that state of mind along with you. Your environment has changed, but your reality hasn't. She had a taste of how Tokyo was like as a tourist when she visited there once with her friends. As you guys know, visiting a place as a tourist and being a local is actually very different. I could not speak for people who actually live there because I had not been to Tokyo, but I know that life there is extremely hectic, just like any other cities in the world. She just wants to escape there because she thinks Tokyo is full of fun and exciting things to do, which is true. But if you leave any city for long term, you know that it's not always sunshine and rainbows. It's simply life. Life has ups and downs regardless of where you are. When they were visiting Tokyo, Yua met this grown adult man who tried to groom her. Yua has a really nice friend right here. I kind of forget her name, but I'm gonna insert it here. She always warned Yua of not responding to this guy, to be careful of him because he is such a creep. Honestly, this is kind of gross. What is a grown adult man doing with a teenager, with an underage? It creeps me out, seriously. She really craved for affection and validation and attention from this man because she doesn't have parental figure at home. She's raised by her grandma, so we can understand how much lack of affection and emotional support she is at home. So it's very natural for young girls to look up to older men when they don't have a proper parental figure at home. I had been a teenager once, so I can totally understand she's not interested in boys her age. And while I was younger, I was kind of the same as you are as well. I always assumed that adults have it all. Grown adults know what to do with their life. They can support you. They can give you the attention that you want, and younger boys or boys my age are simply childish, immature. Now that I think about it, this is extremely wrong, because think about it. If a grown man who is twice your age or someone that's old enough to be your father or your grandfather is trying to be in a relationship with you, chances are he's actually an overgrown teenager, a grown boy. He's not a man. Men like that prefer younger girls because younger girls are, let's be real, more naive. They are easier to manipulate, whereas older girls, you can debate that maybe they might not be as young or youthful or cutesy as teenagers, but they know themselves more. More of the times they have more confidence and they know their standards, they know what they want and they have a louder voice, metaphorically. So a lot of the times these grown boys couldn't handle grown women, so they will turn to more innocent, younger and naive girls because they're easier. And I'm not here to say that younger girls are not valid. It's just that because the life experiences are still very limited, although there are exceptions, but most of the time you will tend to look up to your older partner. You assume that older men are more mature, that they can guide you through life. You want to cling on to them, you want a relationship with them, but most of the time these men, they just look at younger girls as young fresh meat. They grow older but their lovers stay the same age. Maybe some of you might disagree with me and think that I am just a bitter older girl, but I have asked around my male friends and my brother, what do guys actually think about dating girls that are way younger than them? Most of them, if not all of them, told me that it's because they're a loser that they couldn't actually get girls around their age. What kind of topic in common do you have with someone that is so much younger than you? What can you guys actually discuss about? Your pool of experience is so different. You are a grown adult. You still try to act like a teenage boy, and that is just so weird. But I can understand Yua's trauma in this case. She has a lot of daddy issues. In fact, she doesn't even have a mother figure here. So she craves for attention from this man, hoping that he can guide her somehow to live in Tokyo. This man obviously is just using her for his own perverted desires. He doesn't even want to be in a relationship with her. Who knows, maybe he even has a wife in Tokyo? Well, this is just my assumption. He visited her in her village and eventually he committed crime. If you know what I mean, he literally slept with a minor. That is just so disturbing. I felt really sorry for Yua here because I can see that she really craves for affection, that she literally lowered her standard to a creep. And that creep actually had the audacity to feel bad, and he gave her some money to shut her up so that she don't report to the authorities or to her parents. She was so young and naive to even understand what is wrong with this whole dynamic. She doesn't even know why the guy gave her money to shut her up. She doesn't even realize that their relationship is so messed up. She thinks that dating an older guy is a way out. We'll get to there later on. Honestly, I do understand that going to school might suck to some of you. I used to hate going to school as well. I do understand that education might not be for everyone, but school is a place where we can actually learn how to socialize with people around our age. It's also a place for us to discover ourselves. So if you are constantly mingling around with people who aren't your age, especially grown adults, it felt like your youth is robbed away from you and you are kind of forced to understand things that you couldn't understand. In Yua's case, she doesn't even understand why this man gave her money to shut her up after sleeping with her. Yua and her grandma have to live in poverty because her father is an a-hole. He is working in Tokyo but instead of hiring a caretaker for Yua's grandma and Yua, he gambled all his money away, and he doesn't even bother calling them or checking up on them. When Yua's grandma eventually passed away, Yua kind of blamed herself because on the day her grandma passed away, she actually visited her friend and left her grandma at home alone. She felt like it was her responsibility for her to take care of her grandma, but as a child, it's not your responsibility to take care of anyone. If not, it's actually Yua's father's responsibility, but where is he? He doesn't even bother to check up on his own mother and his own daughter. And the worst part is, at the funeral, he actually had the audacity to be counting how much Yua's grandma had left for him. It's so messed up. He only cares about money like any addicts and gamblers do. They really have issues that they need to fix. If you're not ready to have a child, don't even bother bringing one to the world. Look at how much sufferings Yua had to go through. He also had the audacity to tell her that if she moves to Tokyo, she will get a job because she is pretty or she's cute. Like, that is extremely disturbing to be telling your child, because you kind of reduce them down to just their appearance. What kind of job is a child who not gone through enough emotional support, personal development, and education supposed to do? I do believe that having good looks does leverage your job opportunities. Take a look at the K-pop industry example. A lot of K-pop idols are scouted just because they are naturally good looking. They won the genetic lottery. But if that's the only thing that you rely on your whole life, you're gonna suffer a lot, because as humans, we are more than just our appearance. What about our qualities? What about our talents? What about our personality? There is just so much more in a person than just their looks, because looks eventually fade. That's not to say that older people are unattractive or ugly, but your youth will eventually fade. I think that is extremely disturbing to be telling your child, that you can find a job just because you're good looking. What about other qualities? Yua eventually broke down in front of her dad. She was angry at him for not taking the responsibility to take care of her. She has all the rights in this world to be mad because he is supposed to raise his child with love and care, but where is he? Yua got things all messed up here because she assumed that money can solve all her problems. Yua wanted to move to Tokyo, so naturally she needed money, while her grandma needs a large sum of money to pay her hospital bills. I think it's a very common thing for people to turn to money and believe that money can solve all your problems, money can bring you happiness, money can buy you joy. In Yua's case, she learned this at a very, very young age. Time skip, when Yua finally moved to Tokyo, she was obsessed with this host. I think his name is Haruhi, but she called him Harupi because it sounds cuter. Unlike those days, most of the customers in host clubs are mostly older ladies, older lonely housewives. These days, most of the customers are actually younger girls who crave for attention, affection, and has an abundance of money to spend. Yua is obsessed with Harupi. As you can see, she has her personalized champagne bottles here. Let's take a moment to admire these bottles because they're so cute, especially the Kuromi one. Oh my god. If you have one of these bottles, you are definitely a high-paying customer. Yua had probably spent a fortune here to gain Harupi's validation. Yua is really clingy to Harupi because he's cute. He looks like a manga character. I do agree that he's really cute. But their relationship is extremely parasitic. Haruhi knows that Yua is someone who craves for his validation, who is addicted to him, so he manipulated her to keep coming back to him. He even visited her when she was sick, just so that he can groom her to believe that he cares for her, but ultimately all he wants is just so that she can recover quickly and she can get back to work so that she can generate more income to support him. If you watch this series or read the manga, you will probably know that Haruhi is an extremely toxic person. He even popped a champagne on her tab without her knowledge. As I mentioned earlier, the things you tell a child can really affect their growth. Her dad told her that she can easily get a job because she's cute, so she just leveraged on her looks to gain a job in Tokyo. What is the quickest way you can gain a large sum of income by just relying on your looks? You probably know the answer. She is sleeping around with older men, which she is reluctant to do. She hates her job so much. She even self-harms, and she's addicted to alcohol. She even live streams herself taking drugs. All these followers are enablers. She is extremely obsessive when it comes to Haruhi. She thinks that she owns him because she's the one that pays for his living. Yua fell in love with Haruhi, and she really wants to give up her job as a sex worker so that she can live happily ever after with Haruhi. But he, on the other hand, just look at her as a client. What Yua fell in love is just the persona of Haruhi. He's just doing his job to make girls feel good when they are at the host club. His real personality is really violent, he's manipulative, he's toxic. So what she fell in love is just what she paid for. She's just a client. She has this whole imaginary scene of happily ever after with Haruhi, but let's be real, this is not how relationships work in real life. And you probably will never know that because she had never actually experienced what love is supposed to be. Real relationship takes a lot of understanding, communication, going through hardships together, not just all sunshine and rainbows like shoujo manga. It takes a lot of work together. I believe that the manga is still ongoing, but it's not fully translated yet. But this series ended at Yua at the host club with a new host. She replaced Haruhi with a new host because he tried to strangle her. Well, on one hand, I can applaud her for choosing to walk away from Haruhi, but on the other hand, I felt like she is just carrying her whole problem onto a different person. Yua's story has quite an open ending. It's not really a happy one, but I don't want to leave you guys hanging, so we're gonna discuss a little bit about her character here. I do understand that all the trauma that Yua had gone through is definitely not her fault. It's 100% her guardian's fault, her father's fault. She doesn't have a parental figure to learn from. But as a grown adult, it's 100% your own responsibility on whether or not you want to live a better life, or if you want to keep living in the past and be a hurt person. She does have genuine support who care for her, who loves her. Moe really likes her. Moe wants to be friends with her, but Yua pushed her away because hurt people hurt people. She is obviously not ready to move on with herself. She's not ready to face her reality. Well, I think that Yua would definitely develop into a better character if she sticks with Moe, because Moe has a stronger sense of self, while Yua is constantly seeking for validation elsewhere. She's constantly looking for love elsewhere. I know it sounds really cliche, but what's better than being able to give yourself all the love and attention that you need from someone else? Because let's be real, people will disappoint us, people can't fulfill all of our fantasies, people can't meet up to all our expectations. Only we ourselves can do that for ourselves. It's easy for us to think that money brings us happiness, but that's definitely not the case. Money does give you access to a lot of good things in this world. It brings a lot of convenience into your life, but it is not something that can make you love yourself a little bit more. I have seen people that are constantly chasing after money, after things. They're constantly pushing people away, constantly hurting others because, like I said earlier, hurt people. They couldn't form genuine bonds with others, and they are constantly seeking for affection externally. They couldn't love themselves without needing something for them to prove that they are worthy of love. In the end of the day, they're still really sad people. In reality, you might not be addicted to host, but you might be addicted to boyfriends. You might not take time to know yourself better, and you're constantly jumping from one relationship to another relationship, hoping that all these men can fill up your void. Or maybe you are addicted to work. You are constantly focusing on your work instead of taking time to take care of yourself because you think that having more money or having a better position at your job will prove that you are worthy of love and validation. We're constantly being addicted to one thing or another. What we really want is to be able to fully accept ourselves and to love ourselves completely. Think about that. Today's video is definitely super heavy. There's just so much to unpack. Yua definitely has a really tough life. I feel really sorry for her, even she's just a fictional character, because I do know that there are a lot of girls out there going through similar issues. So if you're going through something similar and you realize that you have a lot of trauma that you're dealing with, maybe try taking some time out for yourself to validate yourself, to seek for professional help. I know this sounds really icky to some of you, or maybe try to stick with friends that are more supportive instead of brushing them away. Like in Yua's case, she has Moe, but she brushed Moe away. Look for people who genuinely care for you instead of people who you have to earn for their attention, their time, and validation. So yeah guys, that's it from me for today. If you enjoy watching this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really does help me out a lot. And yeah, if you have any questions or any topics that you want to discuss about, feel free to leave them at the comment section down below. I always enjoy reading your comments. I'll see you in my next video. Thank you so much for your time. Bye!